Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. We've got another match for you here today. We're taking on Pago Youth. Pago Youth are in fourth place and are one of the few teams that I think theoretically has the ability to beat us, but I think we're going to win them fairly well, or win against them fairly well today. We will win them well. The assistant manager wants me to go to a cautious mentality, which seems a little bit ridiculous given the way that we've been playing lately. October 1st, 2022 is the date, and we're just a little bit over the halfway point of the season. And so we'll see how this one goes. And you can see it's a pretty nice day here in American Samoa. And boy, we have one of the real life players there for them, which is always a frightening thing to see. Our team is made up, as usual, mostly of newly generated players. The two defensemen we have in the back, as it turns out, I think are actually real players. Just there's no photo for them in the photo pack. So as you can imagine, I don't think that there's a whole lot of photos going around for players from American Samoa, but you never know. You never know. Maybe this series will catch on and this will start some sort of resurgence. Atu with it over to Norty. Norty over to Afa. Afa on the side looks for Maile and he can't quite get his head onto it. He was offside anyway. And that ends that. I mean, he looked like he was offside there as he was going up. So we're kind of used to that. There was a question on Twitter by one of the more well-known Football Manager accounts today as to which player is always offside for you. I mean, Maile is not always offside, but he's offside probably about 40-something% of the time. The fun times are where he could not be offside and still manages to beat the defense. And that's just what happens when you have a fast player, especially if he's really young, hasn't quite learned how to do it yet. And Maile with a great pass over, and it goes over to Norty, who unfortunately misses the shot. That was a great backward header by Maile. If you look at this again, he hits this one perfectly over to Malani, and Malani then finds Norty. Norty has all the time in the world, but just can't quite direct that one goalwards, and that was a good attempt. And so here about 10 minutes into this match, it is still scoreless, but we're doing pretty well. And let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get this knocked forward a little bit more. And it's back with Palipua. Palipua looks to knock this one forward, and he ends up just hitting it over to the defense. And it's Fetuao, or the great defenseman, over to Norty, and then to Afa, to Malani, and then to Maile, who scores. Is he onside? I think he's offside. Yes, they're calling him offside. And again, it looked like he was offside from the beginning and from the way that this went forward. So it was Afa with a good pass over to Malani, and right there you can see Maile is offside. It was a good call. The funny thing is that he didn't really need to be offside there. If he had stayed back a little bit, he would have been fine and would have been able to score the goal anyway. It's just sort of the mistakes of youth. But he's going to be a great striker, and we'll figure out a way to teach him how to stop doing that. Malani with the ball. Malani over to Teoni, over to Norty. Norty lumps this one forward looking for Maile, and Maile does get over there and gets a head onto it, but unfortunately there is nobody there to be on the other side of that header. Fetuao with it, over to Loke. Loke with it, passes this up to Atu. Atu over to Malani. Malani up looking for it and finds Afa. Afa with it, and he takes a shot, and that one somehow misses the goal, and that also was a little bit frustrating, a little bit disappointing. And it's Logo, the goaltender for their side, who knocks this one forward, and we knock it back. And they end up with it there in midfield, and Palipua is able to go back and clear this one, sort of. Loke then finishes the clearance. Maile has a chance at that one. There's no way he's going to get to that. It's unfortunately for us, we're going to have to fight a little bit harder to try to win this ball back. Luckily, though, all they know how to do is sort of limp it forward like that, and we'll take that any day of the week. If you've been watching this with FM23, teams at all levels have been doing that sort of limp it forward type of approach. Maile has a kind of a glitch-out move and ends up over with Malani in the end as Afa passed it to him, and Malani scores a very, very simple goal, and it's 1-0 for PanSa East FC. Maile's move up here is kind of glitched out a little bit. Yeah, you see that? I mean, what was that? So he somehow went forward and then went backwards after stopping on a dime, went backwards immediately and then went forward again. It was kind of like, if you've ever played one of the newer Madden games, it's kind of like some of the things that those offensive linemen will do when they're being teleported from one part of the screen to the next. And so we end up scoring a Star Trek goal, and it's 1-0. Unfortunately for us, though, they have the ball in a good position, and their shot ends up going up and over and into our stands. This is supposed to be for Pago Youth, a really, really large crowd today, and I think it's mostly because of the support of the PanSa East fans who have packed the place. Of course, we're all playing in Pago Pago, which means that it doesn't really matter if you're the home or away team. We're all kind of on the same side. Maile lumps this one forward and then realizes that there's nobody else up there. I've been thinking about potentially switching to a two-striker system, and we might do that next season. We'll see what happens. For right now, I don't think we need it, but it might be helpful for situations like that. And unfortunately, Alpha's given up a penalty here. And that was kind of a ridiculous thing for him to do. We could have weathered that storm. It wasn't much of an attack by them. And it's going to be Dong with a penalty. And he scores it, of course, because Atu is not really the best goalkeeper in the world. Chris Dong with his first goal of the season. And it's a 1-1 draw so far. And we need to get a little bit more offense. That was a real frustrating foul to see Alpha give up, because, like I said, there was no real need for him to do so. He would have been just fine if he had just played defense and played the ball instead of trying to tackle the player. And it's Maile trying to find Norty and just cannot find him, and we're in trouble now. And this is lumped forward. Fortunately, though, Palipua is not going to let that one get behind him. It's up to Norty. Norty finds Malani. Pass it one more time. Instead, Malani takes a shot, and he should have passed it to Maile, who was wide open. So anyway, apparently it's not just Maile who has some problems passing. Everybody has problems passing up there. Malani with it over to Maile. Maile passes it back to Norty, and that's a horrible pass. That's a really bad job. Thankfully, though, Palipua is able to get his foot onto that one to intercept it, and it's Moy with the ball. Looks forward for Afa. Can't quite find him, and we're going to have to defend again. This time we're not able to win the ball in midfield, but look at Palipua there playing good defense, and then the guy just runs by him, and that forces a save from Atu. But it was still a good job by Palipua to get the position and to almost win that ball off of the offensive player. And they have a corner, and it's all hands on deck. Palipua runs over and just is able to prevent that one from going out, and so the highlight ends. And man, oh man. So this was Palipua here with the good attempt at the tackle, but unfortunately he's not quite able to make it happen. It did force the poor angle, though, for the shot, which Atu was much more capable of saving. As Palipua here with the ball again, and he knocks this one forward, finds Teoni. Teoni's been injured for a while and hasn't played all that much. And his first attempt at a cross is no good. Second one finds Malani, who scores, and it's 2-1 PanSa East FC, just like that. And so, Teoni, for somebody who's been injured for the last little while, and I mean, this is his first game, and I think about 4 weeks, 5 weeks or something like that. That's a pretty good cross. He did a pretty good job in showing that I think he is capable of playing again. The assistant manager didn't want him on the side, but, I mean, that's the reason why he's the assistant. And Atu with his ball now over to Malani. Malani will take it himself over to Teoni. Teoni doesn't see Maile. Passes it instead to Loke over to Malani. Malani with it. Needs to cross. There is the cross, and there's Maile, and it's 3-1 PanSa East FC. That's exactly what we wanted to see happen. You just have to figure out a way to get open for that cross, and once that cross came in, I mean, it didn't really matter what was going to happen. It's a little bit of pinball there, but our guys are fast enough and are quick enough on the reaction to make sure it goes in the goal. And so, I mean, there was that little bit of a save, and Maile is just in the right place at the right time. You could see that one being set up. You could see that set up from the position that Maile was in. And so here in the early going, it is 3-1 PanSa East FC, and it's a good game so far by a lot of these guys, and we're just going to keep these boys out there. Let's see what we can do here in the second half. Now we're going to have to defend right off the bat, so let's see if we can do it. And they lump it up and forward, and it's Palipua who ends up winning the ball after what looked like probably a foul on him, but there's no call at all. This is one of the nice things about playing at this level, which is that the referee sometimes will swallow the whistles and kind of ignore some of the things that your guys do left and right, a little bit of that ninja action. And all right, we're about 60 minutes into this, about a half hour left to go. And it's Logo again with the kick. Knocks this one forward. Moy has it over Maile to Afa. Afa with it. Knocks this forward and up to Loke. Loke barely gets a foot onto it. Back to Afa. What a weird decision. And so that ended up doing a bunch of nothing, but it was pretty athletic. It looked pretty nice. And we may need to make a couple substitutions here in a second. I think we'll let this go up to 70 minutes. And yeah, Peyton Malani is injured. That is not what we want to see. Malani can't quite get a head onto that one. It's over to Atu, Joe Atu, over to Moy now. Moy back to Atu, Atu up to Malani. Malani slowed down by his injury, passes it to Maile, who I think is offside, and nope, the flag stays down, and so that's going to be a goal, and the defenders are complaining quite a bit, but Maile does get a second. I was about to take him off. I'm not going to take him off now, and that was Malani, who I am about to take off, who has the assist, so that means that he has 2 goals and 2 assists, and that is goal number 2 for Maile, and what was once a close match is no longer close. And let's take a quick look here. And yeah, he's just barely onside. I mean, if you count that as being the moment when the pass came through, he was barely onside. And he just got through the defense. Now, we have only a couple of minutes left here in this match. So we're going to see what we can do. We're going to put Famona on. I don't want him to play that role, though. I think this is what we're going. Yeah. All right. We are going to have Corey Norty stay back. We'll put Famona on in the attacking center field role or center midfielder role. And then we're going to have to make a single substitution there. And let's see if there's anything else we can do. Yeah, we can do this and put this guy on as well. Okay, there we go. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can hold on for about 20 more minutes, though. We have definitely not our first team defense out there as we've taken both of our good defenders off. And, of course, as you can imagine, they have the ball. And what in the world is Atu doing? I don't know. But that was a really ridiculous miss. I mean, he had the entire goal right in front of him. I mean, these are like sort of basic drills, right? I mean, how do you miss this? Look at how wide open everything is. And, I mean, he doesn't just miss the goal. He misses it badly. And so it remains 4-1 PanSa East FC. But that's amateur-level football manager for you right there. Maile is going to stay in this game in hopes of getting a hat trick. It's with Afa now. Afa over to Teoni. And Teoni has a shot in it that's deflected. Teoni looking, I don't know if he has a goal yet this season. Norty over to Teoni. Teoni back to Norty. And he deeks and deeks and deeks and deeks. And I'm not quite sure what's happened to the game here. Back to Atu now, over to Latu, who just came on. Latu lumps this one forward, looking for, I don't know who he was looking for, and ends up back with Ryan Coulter over to Latu again, and he doesn't know what he's doing, and he ends up being stripped of the ball pretty quickly. And this sets up a little bit of a counter-strike, counter-attack fast break for them. And we end up forcing a corner from another really ugly-looking piece of play. And here comes Samuelu. I think every team, as I've said before, has a Samuelu. And this is knocked backwards, and Loke is running after, and that's going to be the end of the highlight. This really wasn't much of a highlight from Pago Youth. I mean, Dong had the ball here and sort of lumps one forward that's knocked way out. I don't know why they're showing us this as a highlight, because it definitely was not a clear-cut chance. It wasn't a clear-cut anything. And it is Teoni winning the ball back, doing a good job, lumping this forward to nobody. Maile is dog-tired, I'll tell you that. And Tolu Pinitsui ends up scoring the goal, but he is offside. And I don't know much about this call here. Yeah, I think it's the right call, barely. But, I mean, he's offside by literally the length of a shoe. And so, yeah, I don't know about that. You should know that this isn't basketball. You can't do that sort of, post up behind a player type move, not with the actual laws of the game being what they are. And I think that we've just about seen this one out. It is Latu who runs over and grabs this one, passes to Afa. Afa with it, lumps this forward. He loves doing that, lumping it to the other side of the pitch, and that is the final whistle, and we have won this match. So East PanSa FC keeps the winning streak alive. We have a 2.72 XG to their 2.01, 4-1 the victory. They have a high XG, remember, because they had that penalty, 50% of possession for both teams, and they dominated us in terms of shots on target, and we still won. So maybe it is the players after all. Talk to you later. Bye.